Hi, this is Mr. Grove, and today I want to talk a little bit about your muscles and exercise. And the first thing I kind of want to look at is what happens when you've pushed your muscles to the limit. They can't possibly contract anymore. Let's take a look at this video real quick, and I think you'll get an idea of what I'm talking about.
Athletes, take your marks.
What you're looking at is a marathon down in Australia, and we're going to look at a gentleman who was actually disqualified at first, but I believe he is the winner here, coming in 2 hours and 26 minutes. A little muscle fatigue shown right there. Keep in mind, these guys are running 26 plus miles. This guy coming in sub 3 hours. I love this guy carrying the 2 babies. Keep in mind, he's been running for over 26 miles. Look at this poor guy. Here's the guy we're looking at. Muscles are going to stop working right now. Another view of it. You see him, and there he is, the top of your picture, around 3:30. He's about to go down. Leg muscles are done. Keep in mind, this poor guy's done 26 miles. He's been out running for 3.5 hours, and the officials disqualified him. Now, my understanding is there was an outcry, and he got it back. Impressive. But check this out. Okay, there's that characteristic gait of a muscle that wants to stop working. You're looking at a marathon at an Ironman competition. So these poor ladies who are trying to finish their 26 miles still have, I should have looked it up, but 112 miles on a bicycle next? Well, let's keep watching. Funny as heck, but you've got to admire that determination. All right, so what were we just looking at? You guys are looking at what's known as muscle fatigue. The muscle is no longer able to do what it does, which is contract, can no longer shorten. You get the sarcomere, it ain't happening. Okay, muscle filaments are no longer able to slide past each other. So a definition of muscle fatigue, literally, a muscle will stop contracting. Why would it do that? And what we'll see is that there are several things that cause a muscle to stop contracting. Probably foremost is lack of oxygen. You've gone into what's called oxygen debt. Most of you have tried to run 100 meters on the track, and you try to run it as fast as you can. And then you try to run 400 meters, 800 meters. You want to run a mile, roughly 1,600 meters. And everybody knows that you can't run 1,600 meters at the same speed that you run 100 meters. And if you remember from your biology with aerobic respiration, you remember the reason why, that you just don't have enough oxygen to maintain those anaerobic systems or aerobic systems. And you can't put out that type of muscular endurance on just an anaerobic system. So oxygen levels low, ATP levels low. We've just learned about the sliding filament theory, and you saw the importance of ATP. So when ATP runs out, you get what we just saw in those two videos. Lactic acid buildup, again, flash back to your biology class in anaerobic respiration. And this has to be paid back. All of you have done something. You've run 100 meters as fast as you can. You chased down a football player at the goal line. You've been running a 3+ mile cross-country race. I mean, I could keep going on with my examples. But what do you do when it's over? You sit there and you go, and what you're doing is you're paying back that oxygen debt. That you basically have pushed your muscles so far that there's no longer any oxygen. Well, since we now know how important it is not to go into muscular fatigue, how can we try to avoid it? And really the way to do it is to get in shape, to work out your muscles. And we find that there are two types of contractions. In a sense, there's a lot of exercises, but two major things are happening here. You are either performing an isotonic contraction or you're performing an isometric contraction. And the lady on the left is using a lightweight dumbbell, and she's doing dumbbell curls. And that's an isotonic reaction. Iso, you remember from biology, means same. Tonic means tone or tension. And it's not a good mnemonic device. It doesn't really help you. I like isometric better. The young lady on the right is pushing against her hands, and her muscles are in a state of full contraction, but they're not sliding. The muscles are spinning their wheels. She's not getting anywhere, in other words. And that's an isometric contraction. In other words, iso meaning same, metric meaning measurement. The muscle is not shortening, and so the measurement's not changing. So think about these two. When you're doing an isotonic reaction, that's a typical workout in a weight room. Bench press, curls, anytime you're actually moving the muscle around a joint. And on the other hand, if you're pushing a sled that's got 6 guys standing on it, the sled isn't going anywhere, okay, that's an isometric. You're pushing against a wall, or you're pushing against yourself. Let's take a look at this video clip. This gentleman here is going to attempt to curl 242 pounds. You tell me, isometric, isotonic? Yeah, didn't happen. Isometric.
This exercise is the seated dumbbell curl. This is a great overall exercise to use to build up your bicep muscles.
Okay.
While seated, slowly raise the dumbbells to the top position.
Or isometric.
As you can see, I'm supinating or turning the dumbbells as I twist them up. Slowly lower the dumbbells back to the bottom position and repeat.
Nice exercise for the beach, huh? Okay. One of the benefits that you get in staying in shape, whether that's doing a lot of running or a lot of weightlifting, one of the benefits is you get muscle tone. And muscle tone is literally a continuous partial muscle contraction of any given muscle. And you can always tell when somebody's in really good shape because they're not actually contracting or attempting. They're not trying to make a muscle. Instead, you still see the bulge of that muscle operating. Take a closer look at the guy drinking water here. Okay, he's not trying to make a muscle with his right bicep, but you can see there's still a lot of flex inside the muscle is contracting. And so what literally is happening is you're getting random motor units inside the muscle contracting at any given time. And somebody that's really out of shape, you don't see that. And when you have that happening over just virtually every muscle in your body, it makes for a very attractive body. And that's attractive in just about anybody's perspective. Now, if you don't work out at all, or you don't use the muscle, you get something else. You get what's known as muscle atrophy. And this picture here shows you what happens when you don't use your arm. And so we have a normal biceps muscle on the right versus a muscle on the left that has withered away. And those of you that have ever broken your arm or broken your leg know how the muscle seems to be smaller when they finally take the cast off, because that muscle wasn't able to work. So we want to try to avoid that at all costs. And as you get older and older, and I'll be 55 in a few days, you start losing muscle mass. And so it's really important to exercise to try to maintain what muscle you do have. Well, use it or lose it. So, what are you going to do? You can do aerobic exercises, or you can do resistance exercises, or you can be like me. I do both. I'm on the bicycle a lot, and I'm riding on the weekends, 60-mile rides. It's certainly aerobic, like Miley Cyrus, seen with the pretty boy on the left. So they're out jogging. Or you look at the Olympic woman weightlifter on the right, who's definitely doing weightlifting or resistance training. And I really think it's a good idea that you do both. So even you cross-country runners out there, you certainly need to be in the weight room too. You don't need to go quite to the extent of the Olympic lifter. And for those of you who don't think she's lifting very much, those 20s on those bounce weights are 20 kilos, which is 2.2 pounds per kilo. So figure she's got the bar, it's an Olympic bar, that's 45 pounds, and each plate is 20 times 2.2. So she's got 40 times 2.2 plus another 45. So you guys do the math and you tell me if she's doing that press, essentially, overhead press. Tell me how much weight she's using. Well, there's our talk on muscles and exercise. And again, it's really important that you guys work your muscles. But in conclusion, you got to decide, what are your goals? Are you a cross-country runner and your goal is to run marathon someday, 26 plus miles? Or are you a bicycle racer and you're more of a road racer as opposed to a criterium racer? You certainly want to work a lot of aerobic stuff, because lifting heavy weights and being able to bench press 315 probably isn't going to help these girls much on the left. On the other hand, the fitness model on the right probably wants to do a little less of that heavy endurance stuff and a lot more lifting of weights. So think about what your goals are, and remember, try to incorporate both of them. Okay, this is Mr. Grove signing off from Maria Carrillo High School. Have a good one.